So welcome everyone, and thanks for coming to our very first ever monthly meetup for the Flock XR community. So day one, hi to everyone. Hi there. So I'm Rebecca, and I'm going to pass over to Tracy, who will get us started.
Thanks, Rebecca. So, what is Flock XR? So, Flock XR is a free 3D creation tool for young people aged around 9 to 14. We don't want to put hard boundaries on that, but that's roughly the age group that Flock XR has been designed for. So, why did we create Flock XR? Well, we know that many girls and creatives lose interest in computing when they reach secondary school. We wanted to find a way to keep them engaged. We know that 3D worlds are familiar and relevant to young people. So we've created an environment where they can create their own 3D worlds. We've designed Flock XR so that it appeals to a wide audience, not just those who've traditionally been drawn to computing. As a team, we've got lots of experience creating educational resources for 2D creation in tools like Scratch and for professional 3D development tools like Unity and Unreal. But we found that there's a big gap between them, and we've designed Flock to bridge that gap. We found that many industries are rapidly adopting metaverse, extended reality, that's the XR in Flock XR, and spatial computing technologies. Young people who use Flock will be developing skills that are relevant for a range of jobs and careers across many industries, including gaming, but also virtual film production, fashion, architecture, engineering, and many other industries. So with Flock XR, they'll have fun now, they'll develop projects that are relevant to them, and they'll also be developing skills that are relevant for the world of work and the future. So that's why. And now I'll hand over to Liz, who'll tell you a bit about what Flock XR can do.
Thanks, Tracy. Okay, I'm going to start by just giving a super brief overview for anyone who is not familiar with Flock XR. So in Flock XR, you can create 3D worlds by adding and editing objects on the canvas directly, or by using code blocks, or a combination of both, like I do, because the blocks and the canvas both automatically update. You can make a wide variety of projects as well in Flock XR. So projects that I'm loving at the moment include 3D animations, character interactions, and definitely experimenting with spatial audio. I also love taking Flock XR with me on my mobile phone, so to create augmented reality projects. I'm really enjoying making projects that can be 3D printed as well, and my passion projects are always data visualizations. Okay, this is the first community call, so I thought we could have like a few regular features. So this is the first of them. So I thought each month on these calls, we would take a minute to share a couple of like smaller features in Flock XR that maybe you don't know about or you're not using yet. So I just picked two for this time. The first is snippets. So there's a snippets category in the toolbox. It's right down at the bottom. I use it all the time to grab useful snippets when I'm creating new projects. So the image here that's on the left shows one of the snippets that you can drag into your project, and this one sets up your world for you. So it adds a sky, it adds a map, and then you can customize it from there. Super useful to get going with that snippet. There's others as well. So there's one for having a player with a camera that follows them around, which is really useful. There's a player controller snippet as well. So you're not having to reinvent the wheel every time, and they're super, super useful. The second feature that I'm finding I'm using more and more is the search bar at the top of the toolbox. It's really useful for just typing in words and then having the blocks surface. So I've just done an example there with glide, type glide in, and it's brought that block from the animations folder just to the top for me, which is really, really cool. The other consistent thing that I want to include in these monthly calls is like to tell you about new features that have been introduced in Flock XR. So these are a few that I thought it'd be really cool to draw your attention to. So the first one is that there is a new material block and it accepts 2 colors. So you can, for the first time, create multicolor 3D shapes. The sphere is definitely giving me planet vibe, so I can't wait to make some projects with that. But I think that's going to be super useful going forward. And another update as well is that you can now use the combine blocks with objects. Previously you could only use them with shapes, so it's really good to be able to use them with objects like the egg and the heart and some of the gems and the coins. So basically in doing that you can merge objects together, subtract one object for another, or only return parts of the objects where 2 objects intersect. So I'm really excited about those. I can't wait to experiment with them, especially thinking about the egg shape for spring and some of the spring projects that are going to be coming up. I think that's going to be really cool. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Rebecca now. She's going to tell you about a pilot that she's been working on.
Thanks, Liz. So I have been working for the last 4 weeks now in 3 schools, secondary schools in my local area. And it's been really interesting to see how the learners have connected with Flock XR. We know that creativity and personalisation are really important if we want to make our computing lessons interesting and relevant to young people. So the thing that they enjoy instantly when they start using Flock XR is how easy it is to personalize the 3D world and use their creative skills to choose color schemes that really appeal to them. And the thing that I've loved seeing is the sort of monochrome look. A lot of them are going for just 1 or 2 colors or shades of colors, and it's making a really interesting effect. And some of them they do such a great color palette on all of it. It just looks incredible. But they really just love that straight away. So at the click of a few buttons, they can really take ownership of their projects and make stronger connections with what they're making, which is really important. And when you compare Flock XR to other 3D creation tools that are out there, we've got no logins. It just works in the browser, and we've designed it with download speed and memory usage in mind, so learners can very quickly get into the tool and start making without needing to wait for long downloads or logins or really overly complicated 3D terrains to load on their screens. So this has reduced a lot of wasted time in the lesson, which can happen with some of those more memory intensive tools. So I can get the lesson started really quickly, and that is really important with these lessons. So it's been really nice to see that. And then the unit that I'm actually piloting is going to be the first unit published by Flip Computing for Flock XR, and there will be a cost attached to downloading the unit of work. And the reason for that is it's going to help support ongoing development of Flock XR. So this is how we're trying to sort of earn money so that we can fund future development. And the 6 lesson unit will come with lesson plans, a unit overview, slides, vocabulary sheets, skills map, and also direct to learner videos. This is something that our teachers have been asking for. Not necessarily to give directly to the learners, but they might use that if there was if a teacher was off sick or something like that to help. But actually more for CPD for the teacher, being able to see the lessons modelled by somebody who knows the tool really well is going to be really helpful for them. And we're also going to publish a homeschool book as well for home educators to use with their learners that will cover all the materials in that unit, but in a textbook style format as well. So there'll be a book as well that you can buy, a physical book. And we see this unit that we're making being a strong alternative for the Scratch unit that is in the Teach Computing curriculum, or the other Scratch unit that is in the Oak National Academy new materials that have come up. It covers the same concepts, so sequence, repetition, variables, events, and also introduces them to 3D concepts such as physics engines and XYZ and lots of other stuff that they really enjoy using. So the general sequence of the unit was planned prior to the pilot, but the lessons are very much being co-designed based on feedback from the young people, seeing what works in the classroom in that typical 60-minute lesson in a typical school environment. And the activities are realistic for a 60-minute lesson. So we don't want to overwhelm learners with loads of text, heavy slides and all that kind of stuff. We want them to just get stuck in and be really practical straight away and just get them going and get them enjoying using the tool. And having the ability to test it in 3 schools has been fantastic, because when we've realized that a block needs improving or the structure wasn't quite right, we can very quickly change it and try the updated version in the next school, which has assured us that this final product is going to work really well in a variety of schools. So, for example, one of the blocks that we have changed based on feedback is the set variable block. Before, it had a shadow block, so sort of like a grayed out oval shape in it. And we've now put in the option, so straight away you can just either have a 0 in it, so a number, or some text, because that extra step of going to math or string and bringing that in was just too much cognitive load when they were learning a new thing, variables. So we've reduced that cognitive load by just putting it in there. Like, they don't have to go and find it anymore. They can just drag the block they need and change the number. So those unnecessary steps we've reduced, and that's what we're really, every time I teach, we're reflecting on, right, how can we reduce the cognitive load? What can we do with the blocks? What can we do with the lesson structure? And we've even changed lesson 4, 5 and 6 just this week, because we're like, no, it was too much cognitive load. We've changed it and we've improved it. So the fact that we've gone into all these schools and we've really seen what it's like in a typical 60-minute lesson and what can be covered and what can be achieved, we know that this unit of work is going to work really, really well in schools. So we're really looking forward to it being released, hopefully kind of May time, but we haven't really decided exactly when, but it'll be somewhere around then. So with these monthly meetups, we're going to have the first sort of roughly 15 minutes is going to be recorded, and that is going to go onto YouTube. But the last 15 minutes of the session is always going to be, we'll stop recording, people can switch their cameras on and they can have a chat with us for 15 minutes about any questions they have about with Block. So if you are watching the catch up on YouTube, that you've got that extra value of signing up to the sessions, because you've got us for 15 minutes to chat to us about Flock XR. So if you do want to sign up to the next session in April, we will be putting the link in the description below so that you can sign up to our April session. So if you're staying for the Q&A, if you're live, then we shall carry on. But everyone else who's watching on YouTube will just say bye now, and we'll catch you in April.